What is up, and welcome to our first ever Kaiserkars podcast. I will be your host, Joseph Reyes, representing Kaiserkars, and right here in front of me is going to be my boy, longtime friend, Marvin Rosinos, a freelance photographer for Super Street Magazine. Man, let's kick this thing off right, man. Talk to me. Right?
How's it going?
Man, it's been a cool minute, dude.
Right, I haven't seen you in a minute, brother.
It's always
SEMA
good
was the last time I saw you.
SEMA was the last time?
Definitely
Yes.
always a good time.
Always a good time. Thank you so much. This is a great time. This is going to be something that we're going to be doing often here with Kaiser. One of the many things that makes this company so unique, and we're going to dive into the right way. You know what I mean? We're all about the industry, so we're about the people that influence the culture, the vibe, and most importantly, capture those moments, and that's you. All right. So like whenever I think about capturing the moments, I think about photography. I think about, these rollers behind us with AJ. I mean, look, we talked about the focus on that dude right over there rolling through in that gorgeous 270 yard. So Marvin, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, my name is Marvin Rosinos. I'm a freelancer photographer for Super Street. I've been doing it for 3.5 years now. Could say for Super Street, I've been working for 8 months. There's just the passion behind it, man. I strive, consistency is key, and just continue to shoot different, unique cars. I'm strongly involved with the import scene. I've been dealing with cars for the past 13 years of my life, roughly.
Yeah.
I can say I genuinely enjoy what I do. It's far much from a career. It's a hobby. It's a passion. It's something that I genuinely just grew up around. So it's something that want to continue doing it for the rest of my life type thing. It's when.
Yeah, and the thing is, we were talking whenever I first met you, this wasn't your gig. You know what I mean? I remember we were chopping it up about work and what you're doing. And so what got you kind of into the whole thing? Like, hey, dude, this is going to be my thing. I am going to be a photographer. What got you into that?
So there's a racing event called Shift Sector. It's here in California, Southern California. They normally host it at a racing strip called out in Coalinga. It's an airstrip that they basically shut down. The event's called Shift Sector. My brother is sponsored through a company called R1 Concepts. It's a brake company, great company for brakes.
Yeah.
So they basically have photographers. They normally contract Rockstar. I met Cody through that company, Vids by Cody.
Yeah.
Which is a really, really cool guy, a humble guy. He kind of had extra cameras there that day, and he's like, hey, bro, grab one of my cameras and just come with me. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even have a media pass. He's like, bro, come with me. I have a media pass for you. And he gave me the ropes. And sure enough, that day, I got back home. I told my wife about it. She's like, it seems like you enjoyed yourself. She's like, why don't you buy a camera? Give it a shot. 6 months later, I bought a camera. Shift Sector comes around again. I go out there. I actually enjoyed it even more. And then I didn't have the best camera at the time, but I definitely was told by a lot of people in the industry, they're like, bro, you have an eye. Like, the quality of the photo might not be there, but the eye is there. Sure. And that's the important thing behind photography. So sure enough, practice makes perfect. I'm a strong believer in that. Consistency is key. So I just went heads over heels of it. I went in and I just went in, bro. I just would shoot every other day. I knew a lot of people in the community. That's how I met you through cars.
Yeah.
So I genuinely would reach out to just friends. Hey, bro, give me like 30, 40 minutes of your time and let's go get some photos done. And just stayed consistent. I've been doing it for like 3.5 years now, and been featured with 7 different companies. Magazine wise, I've came out in 47 magazines. Damn. Features wise, total, I'm sitting close to 80 something features. Yeah. So I can't say I've been blessed. It's something that I count my blessings, and I can't wait to see what the future brings for me.
Definitely.
I will say, behind photography, what really, really pushed me was the fact that people would compliment my eye. They would tell me, hey, bro, you could get a photo, and not many people could capture that,
Yeah.
So that's what always pushed me forward. Yeah, you're always going to have selective people tell you otherwise, oh, your work's trash, your work's this, your work's that.
Yeah.
But that's just anything in life. I feel like there's going to be the people that they're going to support you, and there's people that are not going to support you.
Yeah.
So I just kind of blocked out the negative and just continued with the positive and just surrounded myself with positive people.
Yeah.
My circle got really small, but it was something where it was for the good. I felt like I met people like yourself, or I consider you a brother at your old job where you used to work at.
Yeah.
And we definitely built a relationship through there.
Definitely.
If it was something where we knew what we were there for, and then we took care of it. So I that's the same way where I pursued photography. I just stuck by it and just went in.
Now, besides the whole photography thing, like besides cars, is there anything else that you also shoot? You know what I mean? I'm just out of curiosity because I know sometimes
Sneakers, and that's just my past. I come from a sneaker background, so it's another passion of mine where I shoot from time to time. Shoes. I've actually done a shoot for Jordan. For Jumpman, I've done 2 shoots for them.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, Sergio, he's a photographer for them, so he brought me along. It was a great experience. It's something that blew my mind. He's like, I just wanted to take you back to your old roots, you know? And I'm like, well, I have to go back to my first roots because I was born and raised into the car scene. My dad owns 6 240Zs and an R32 GTR.
Damn.
So I was born in it. It's not something that I chose kind of with my life. Cars were something that I was just born into it. It was Nissans. It wasn't Toyotas. Now I do drive a Toyota. My brother drives Toyotas. We build Toyotas. Yeah. So everybody always asks, like, wait a minute, why did you guys go with Toyotas when your dad was Nissan? You know? Yeah. And it's just something where just the motor makes a different noise. Yeah. And it just, that's what gravitates me. 2Js, 3Ss, they just sound amazing, man. So
now I have to jump into this, though. You know, I definitely have this on my list of things to ask you. So tell us, what do you drive? What is your build? Break it down.
I drive a 1991 Toyota MR2 SW20. It has a 3S GTE as of now, Gen 2. We're actually building a motor for it as we speak. Should be done within like 2-3 months.
Nice.
That's what I'm pushing for. I was hoping for my birthday, but due to the machine shop that does all the machining for us, they're a little bit behind the schedule. So they gave me the breakdown about 2 weeks ago that it wouldn't be done in time. So it's okay. I feel like patience is key. Everything when the right time is gonna be right, it's gonna get done. And I feel like I'm a strong believer where if you do something right the first time, you don't have to do it again.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So I've been waiting. If you really know me and you know me for quite some time, I've owned the car going on 5 years, and I've been patient. At first, I was going in. I put a 6-pot BBK, which is the biggest brake system in the world, so I've heard on that car. Yeah. So it's just one of those where I was investing heavily into the car, but then my priorities sit a little different, and then I started actually photography kind of pulled me away from the car build.
Okay.
The build itself. The investment behind my gear has been what kind of pulled me aside from that. But it's only been to a good cause. I mean, look at me now. It's something that I proceeded and I stuck by it, and I love it, and I love what I do. And photography is not only fun, but it's mind blowing. It's something where I get to shoot cars that I've never ever in my life thought I would see. You know, and come March, I'm going back to my motherland in El Salvador just to shoot some cars in a drift event. Dope, you know, DK is gonna be over there, which is to me it's huge. You know, not only do I get to go back to where my mom was from, but I get to go and do something that I love for a big company out there, which is Toyota. You know, which is great. Like I feel like that's a huge blessing in my behalf.
And just that environment, like the landscape and all that different stuff, it's going to be a total different experience. You know what I mean? So that'll be cool. That'll be legit.
So back to my car. The motor should be done soon. I'm shooting for 500 horsepower, which in a Toyota MR2, quite a lot of people actually tell me that's nuts. My goal in the long run, though, I am shooting for 1200. Okay. This 500 horsepower build is just something for me to just enjoy at the moment, you know? Just drive the car more. And if I have any muscle car pull up next to me, I could actually, if he wants to race, I won't race him in the streets, but I could genuinely tell him we go to the track, and you know,
I hear that. Dude.
We'll
That's
have some
what
fun.
It's all about. Yeah, and I hear word on the streets is you had a color change too, right? Last time I saw it, you were white.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like,
it's midnight purple now. Okay. Although I was just talking about it earlier, I missed the white, man. I think I'm gonna go back to white. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a different tone of white, but I genuinely miss the white. It's something white is right. I feel like white on most cars, it just flows with the body lines. And, and it brings out, complements the car. You know,
very clean, very clean.
Correct. You know, I did the midnight purple for the time being, due to the fact that my brother's midnight purple too on his Supra. So I wanted to be like the big brother, little brother. But yes, it's definitely something that I don't know. It's like a love-hate relationship. Purple is hype maintenance color. So that being said, it's a lot of detailing.
For sure.
I've been detailing longer than I've been a photographer, so that's not something I genuinely mind. But it's just the maintenance. It's a lot. You know.
Yeah. So tell me, we were talking about this. I know that we talked about your vehicle, and I'm also curious because you mentioned about the investment in your gear, right? And I always know that that's an expensive hobby. It's just like hey, guns and shoes and all these different things. So tell me, how do you usually determine on what kind of gear it's time? Hey, dude, I need to step my game up with this lens or do this. What's your reference points that you're using? Is there like forums that you're on? Is it just like you keep up online on seeing, hey, dude, this just dropped this camera, I need to get this. So what does that look like anyways for like your arsenal?
What I tend to do is I peak my budget. I see what my budget is first of all. Then I go and I bring out. Sony is mind blowing, right? Sony's the top. Yeah. Everybody's using Sony right now.
Yeah.
See new photographers and they're on brand new Sonys. Ours just amazing bodies, $5,000 bodies itself. Jeez, dude. Just not talking about the lens, So I give it up to them. Me personally, I'm more of a Canon guy. I love the colors in Canon. I love the texture behind Canon. I was guided by Larry Chen.
Nice.
I say about a year and a half ago. Cool. That's when I bought my R5. And I asked him, I was like, bro, like, what do you genuinely recommend? I know you work for Canon. I know you're heavily involved with Canon.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I need your input. Like, I don't want to jump the gun and do what everybody else is doing and go to Sony, which now I am a Sony owner.
Yeah.
But I use Sony for different reasons. I use Sony for video. If it's photos, I'll still use my Canons.
Okay.
How I've actually got into the cameras that I have now, it's basically I've set a budget. I've looked at what my budget could afford. I jump into it. I cap out in the camera, meaning I use it to its best potential. Sure. And when I feel like I'm exceeding it and my work is somewhat looking repetitive, that's when I'll upgrade.
Okay, cool.
But I can't say that I've been just bought a $10,000 body.
Yeah.
It is a goal of mine. I do plan to buy a red one day, and I do plan to afford that. But it's something that I've genuinely paced in myself because I don't want to break the bank just buying one camera.
No, and trust me, dude, you're definitely working magic with what you're using. You know what I mean? So no, I was just that was just out of curiosity because I know, as with everything, there's different levels to the game, and so always curious where your influence comes from. So, speaking about the levels and the arsenal and all that different stuff, I got to know, what is your favorite? This is going to be a hard one. What is your favorite vehicle that you have shot? Like, something has to stand out. Talk to me. What is that?
My favorite car that I've shot. It's tough, man. I've been blessed. Like I said, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and I've been blessed. Blessed to the extent where I've shot DeLoreans, I've shot high-end Porsches, I've shot Lamborghinis, I've shot. Let's not talk about the import side because I've shot some really rare gems,
Yes, sir.
But it's one of those, man, where I it's hard, man. But I say, as of last year, a car that really stood out to me and the set that stood out to me was Rico's Ways set up in the Bay Area. His RWB Porsche is just next level, man. It really blew my mind. It's something that I genuinely look forward to seeing what he does with the build because I've been told he's not even done with it. So it's like, oh, man, you're not done with this build and it's already at this level.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you do with it. But the set itself stood out so much. It was just, I had the RWB Porsche. I had his 86 Corolla that's also RWB inspired and built, the wide body itself. So it's like I have what RWB first started with and what they're doing now with Corollas. Yeah. And now they're at Porsche. So it's like you see the growth in that. And to see them both side by side, not only side by side, but just ripping it through the San Francisco Bridge, ripping it in the city where it's all echoing. And it's like, it was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It was right before dinner, right before we ended our set. So just to hear that those cars roar, like it was just, it was next level, man.
And you have to put the people listening to this, watching this, that have not, that they've never seen that build before. You got to tell them. You and I were talking about this, right, just a little bit ago. What is the biggest thing, in your opinion, that stands out about this build?
Yeah, that's tough. The whole car. First of all, the car is gold.
Yeah.
So that's an eyesore. Like you see the car and it's like, whoa,
big time. Yeah, in your
gold
face.
RWB, right? Yeah. So then you look at the interior. And then the interior is next level where everything's just dialed into detail. You have purple accents on the gold chassis, on the gold roll cage. So it's just, it looks so good. then what really blows my mind is the fact that he chopped the roof off. And
Exactly,
you can see right through the car.
And
so.
that's the biggest thing is that we were talking about stuff, and I think it's all about taking risks. And whenever a risk is executed, it definitely sets you apart from everybody else. You know what I mean? And the fact that you're cutting the roof off of your vehicle, you know what I mean? That's next level. You know what I mean? But it allows you to showcase like a fishbowl. All that freaking just focuses on the interior, because in my personal opinion, the interior of that build is just as beautiful
as the outside.
And that's whenever you're talking about the ultimate build or SEMA build or whatever, that's the stuff that truly separates you from everybody else. You know what I mean?
Speaking of SEMA, that was actually at SEMA as well. It was at the Toyota Tread Pass this past year, 2022, which... Man, like I said, I took a drone shot over that car, and it was mind-blowing to me just to see the interior in that perspective, meaning from a drone point of view. I was just like, wow, bro. Like, man, it definitely set the bar.
We got to talk about Toyo for a second, because the Toyo Tread Pass, if we are talking about SEMA, my personal opinion is that's going to be the spot. You get what I'm saying? Like, cats always ask, hey, man, where should I go check out? And
I don't want to say that, but the Toyota Tread Pass is SEMA.
Bro, dude, hey, real talk. I mean, that's you see all the photography. You notice the moment you see them on that blue carpet, you know where they're at. You get what I mean? Good. And it's just, I mean, so shout out to Toyo.
I mean, SEMA itself has quality.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never, ever been disappointed with SEMA. SEMA is the event that I try to make sure I'm attending.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I'm on board with some company that's gonna bless me and take me upon them and have me as their media. So it's something that I genuinely look forward to at the end of every year, because it's SEMA. It's, the builds are always there, whether it's off-roading, whether it's domestic, whether it's import, whether it's European, whether it's
trucks,
full custom.
Yeah.
It could genuinely be a full custom car. Like it could be presented as something and it's not that. So it's mind blowing. I feel like SEMA is always an event where you won't have time to actually finish the event.
Yeah.
Whether you're there all week or not, you won't walk the full event. It's too big.
Yeah.
But what you do get to see, it's like you won't be disappointed.
True.
There's also the Tesla experience. There's the whole off-roading, the Hoonigans, the burnout pit. So it's like there's so much that you could do there that I took my wife this past year for the first time, and she was genuinely like, wow, this is a show.
Yeah, for people that have not been, I mean, it's the ultimate experience whenever you're dealing with anything in the aftermarket car world. You know what I mean? It's also something that you and I were talking about, networking. You get what I'm saying? Like, now that you are doing what you're doing, and this is as your lifestyle of being a photographer and stuff, I think we both agree the networking aspect there of literally breaking bread with people, talking to people. Tell me what's your opinion on that aspect of it.
That's the best place I've ever had, the best networking. You get to meet people from around the world. You don't deal with people from your state. You don't get to deal with the same people. One thing that I was amazed by is that I went with a company that was based out of Utah this year, right? And everybody would approach me and ask me like, bro, you're my neighbor. I'm from Utah. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm from Southern California. This is just the company that I'm out here with.
True. Yeah.
But that blew my mind, because it's like I had so many people come up to me with the same thing, like with the same question. And I'm just like, oh, no, I'm not from this city or state. I'm from Southern California. But it just tells me that there's people from around the world, from Japan, from Canada, from the UK. They're just there vibing and talking with you and getting to know you and seeing what you could present and what what you're involved with.
True.
Because SEMA genuinely is a company-based event. They do have their last day, which is Friday, which is open for the public, but it's an event where you're connected with the company to be there.
Yeah, big time. And that's what a lot of people have asked, because people don't realize. I mean, it's extremely difficult to get into the events, meaning you can't just be like, okay, I'm Joe Blow, I'm going to go ahead and go here all during the entire week. But for those of you that have the opportunity and can get connected in there, especially for builders out there, cats that are looking at getting involved into the scene, I mean, you're able to shake hands and speak with the people, you know what I mean? The main people that are doing this, everything imaginable. What's really cool is you get to see where the parts are made from. You see a carbon fiber hood. You're actually able to chop it up with these cats. You know, it's just wild. It's just a wild event. So it was great seeing you too, man. I got the chance to see you out there. You know, we got a chance to chop it up.
I made my way to the West Hall. That was really a good feeling. West Hall blew my mind, bro. All the chemical companies, the car products, wraps.
Dude,
it was mind blowing. I also help a rap company called Tiny Vinyl.
Yeah.
Very SoCal.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, those cats, man. They have freaking talk about blowing up and growth. 3 years ago, I remember, you know, they came in, you know, and saying, "Hey, dude, I got a vinyl company." And whenever you say that, I thought, okay, you offer, you know, all these different brands. No, we do our own vinyl. I'm like, okay, easy with that, dude. You know what I mean? To come into the game of all these big players, to say that you are actually competing, all of a sudden,
and the quality's there. Bro, that's the one thing that I will say. Like, straight up, for vinyl, it's tough, you know. So back to SEMA, the West Hall was dedicated to car care products and vinyl. Yeah. So to me, to see that and to see all the different type of vinyls, I was like, whoa, there. Yeah. I don't know if you saw some of those crazy colored, like multicolored. Yeah,
the color flop one. I've always been a huge fan of like that chameleon finish. You know what I mean? A chameleon. But like now, even with like the digital printing on, I mean, dude, it's
next level. It's mind blowing.
Crazy. And also I saw the GTR was parked outside, but it made it look like a rustic, really old.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
That's actually my buddies. That's LB Walk GTRs.
Dude, gorgeous.
Celebrity Walk kit on that. He actually owns his whole, he has a full-on wrap company. He doesn't make the vinyl, he wraps the cars.
Sure.
So he does get to print out his own designs. So that's where that came about.
And that one stood out to me because it's made it to look, it was like a matte finish, but it looked like it's rusted and with some holes.
It gave it that patina look.
Bro.
Just like a marine boat, yes.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. So no, it was a good time out there. And so I was just curious, honestly, about like what was one of your favorite vehicles and stuff like that to shoot. And I definitely agree that the colorway of that gold and stuff, the scenery. We talked, hey, you're trying to get out to San Francisco here sometime in the near future again, right?
Yes, sir. Next month, actually. Hopefully, if this flooding stops, because I've heard San Francisco's pretty bad, which I don't mind going out there and hitting some skis or whatever the case may be, just to be out there. But I just genuinely want to go out to the Bay. I feel like they have a lot of quality that I'm yet to see. I know most of the builders out here in SoCal. So Southern California, I feel like I know a lot of the builders. So whether I've seen the car, I've caught wind of it, or I've heard of it, I feel like NorCal, I'm yet to see everything they have to offer.
Yeah, and they got some heat. We talked. I mean, we've talked about it. They definitely have. NorCal holds it down. They definitely hold their own for sure whenever it comes to the scene. So
definitely, there's collectors out there. That's the one thing that I'm mind blown by. There's genuine collectors. There's a guy named Marco Regalado out there that he has like, I've seen like 60 of his cars.
Jeez.
And they're all to top tiered vehicles. You know, like he sticks around 510s, GTRs. That's Nissans for the most part.
Okay.
Or old Chevy trucks like C10s and you know. But bro, like next level builds, and I tell him like, were you inspired by all this? Like, how do you come about this? And he's just like, I just love it, and I love colors, and that's why if you look at my garage, I'm not sitting on like all white cars or all black cars. True. Like, it looks like a rainbow in there, and he's like,
diversity,
and that's what genuinely gravitates me to my garage. Like, so to see stuff like that, I genuinely see the passion behind it, and it feels good. It feels good because you know you do know that there's people that genuinely do it with a passion. It's not only that they could afford it, but they could genuinely enjoy what they're doing behind their builds.
True.
Opposed to some people just have the money, so I'm just
I know.
Buy
It's not even a second thought about like the actual lifestyle of the scene or
Correct.
You know, like you said, the
passion,
culture. Exactly. Dude, that's the biggest thing that you hit on, that word culture. Anytime I hear that, dude, that's what I feel like sometimes people lose sight of. You know what I mean? I know you went to a show. Actually, Kaiser was in the house this past weekend, right? You were getting a chance to get there. And, you know, just from the photos, I know I wasn't out there, but, you know, AJ was behind the scenes showing that. And that's what it's all about, dude, the culture, people getting together, you know what I mean, collaborating, building with one another. And sometimes, you know, any type of scene, the aftermarket world gets a bad name because people will see stuff like, you know, like takeovers or whatever, and automatically, you know, group everybody all into that. You know what I mean? You have a modified car, oh, dude, you must be part of these takeovers going on over here. But the culture of the scene is very rich, man. This thing has been going on. I remember my first build was literally before Fast and Furious 1 even came out. You get what I mean? Like, and it's like you look at how much the scene has evolved since then. But then we're kind of going back to those days. Now I'm seeing like, you know, EGs and stuff, which is great.
So the evolution. So I'm glad you mentioned that before Fast and the Furious, because that's when my older brother pioneered me into the scene.
Yeah.
So I was just a kid at the time, bro. And I've seen the growth and I've seen the evolution. I've gone from the crazy wide body, and I'm not saying the wide body, but just those were the body kits. They look like wide body, you know? And it was just a bumper or some size kits.
Yeah.
It was just crazy out the door. I've seen that. I've seen the Lambo door era. I've seen the whole suicide door era. I've seen the whole when everybody was doing dub cars. So I've seen the transition and stuff throughout the years. And I will say that, yeah, you're correct. It's slowly reverting back.
Yeah. And there's things I know that won't come back. Obviously, like you said, like they're throwing Lamborghini doors on everything. But I'll tell you, like, I mean, I miss the days of seeing a clean EG hatch just dumped down with that perfect static fitment. I was actually into the big taillight conversion. People were throwing super taillights on the Integras and stuff like, bro, but that takes some creativity. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to freaking, that's thinking outside the box. I miss that because I don't like just to grab a bumper or a hood on and just slap it on. Whenever you're doing something extra, something additional that you have to be creative. I mean, bro, I give mega props to that all day long.
No, yeah, the creativity behind it and the craftsmanship. I feel like what you said right now, especially like with taillight conversions, even like conversions itself. I feel like back in the days was common, and they still do it to this day. But like the ITR front end on the USDM version, right?
Sir. Yeah.
So I feel like it's just what fenders and a front end, right, that you're replacing. And, but it's genuinely hard to do, like to line it up, to make it look good, to button it up, to actually look like it came from the factory that way.
I remember, what did they call it? The California Type R. What was the one that came actually with like Acura CL or like Type S headlights or something? Acura headlights.
Oh,
that's what was that called? Was that Kelly the Bomb Kit or something like that? One of those. Man, take me back to the days of all those type. Yeah, Velside.
Velside was big. I feel like
big time.
I recently actually just featured a Velside kit, the FD.
Okay.
So the FD and the NSX for the Velside kits were my favorite.
Yeah.
To this day, they're my favorite. I feel like the Mach 4 Supra and the other kits are kind of, you know, it's your own taste. But everybody has a taste. I'm a strong believer in builds should represent you. Yeah. A build should represent its owner. A build, especially when you're going towards that wow factor where you're not OEM, you're actually putting your taste into it. It should be your taste. It should be something that you like. Going back to your old builds, I'm not a Ford fan. You've always known that, you know?
Yeah.
And I genuinely liked your Mustang. Your Mustang was different. It had a big old cow hood. It was aggressive looking, yet it looked like you could drive it in the street. It wasn't too much, you know? Yeah. So builds like that scream its owner and it represents its owner. Yeah. Bro, I love it. I feel like those are the builds that we should see more about.
True.
Whether it's domestic, whether it's import, but I hate seeing copy and pasted cars. Like,
True.
Wait a minute. Yeah. I just saw that car on another build that other build's been out for years, you know? And you see another build just stumble upon the scene and it looks exactly the same. So it's like, there's builds like that I just, you know, I don't knock them for it. I just see them and I'm like, oh, I've seen that done somewhere else, you know?
True. Yeah.
So there's the creativity behind it. It just doesn't wow me. So what I tend to look out for is something different, you know, something.
True.
And I feel like the community slowly, it's funny that you say that the evolution went from it transitioning to it being crazy, like crazy body kits, crazy doors, lights. I'm pretty sure you clearly remember when sound systems and all that.
Oh,
you
had
all that.
Yeah.
It was a full package or not a package at all type thing.
But,
you know?
Yeah, big time.
So you wanted the suede interior, you wanted, you know.
Sir. Yeah.
So it went from that to back to OEM now. I feel like Mugen parts, you mentioned Mugen earlier, Spoon for the Honda scene. For a while, those parts got demolished. They got ran through. And now you find those parts and it's like, oh my God.
Man, gold.
Exactly. Yeah. My first car, I was blessed by my older brother and I had a right-hand drive Del Sol.
Okay,
so
nice.
I had the trans stop. I had a Mugen front end on that car. Long story short, I sold the car for $8,000, right? Oh, I hate my life for that because I ran into, good thing though, I sold the car to one of my high school friends. He still owns it to this day.
Oh, wow.
That's the beauty of it. I sold it to him in 2010. But he told me the last time I saw him, we were chopping it up, and I was like, bro, like you rarely see Del Sol parts. Like where they at? And he's like, I just love you, bro. Like that's why I'm here, because I respect you and I love you. He's like, I live in San Diego. The car sits in here in Los Angeles, but I take the drive to go to get my car from the garage, and I bring it to you. It's your old car.
Yeah.
But I do this because, let's be real. He was like, you sold me the car for $8,000. The front bumper is worth $5,000 now.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, the front bumper? He's like, yeah, your Mugen front end? He's like, it's worth $5,000 now. He's like, so realistically, I got a car for $3,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm glad you kept it, you know? Because the scene has genuinely went from where parts they were affordable. They were everywhere. They were accessible. I feel like that's a lot of it. That's too that parts aren't accessible as they used to be.
Dude, I remember basically if I wanted a part, I would grab the Import Tuner magazine and just basically the back pages were just nothing but, you know, all these different things, and the rims and the freaking Racing Heart C5s I was able to get no problem, and all this different stuff.
And you can't get that nowadays.
No, but you remember all the import shops that used to be around too. There used to be an import shop all around, because I'm born and raised in Northern California, so I mean it was a different type of thing. But you used to take trips to Stockton and all those different areas, bro. Import shops left and right. You get your freaking HKS intakes over here. Of course, then they had, what was it? You know, Gretty heavy in the game. You know, and then
they're still out here too.
Yeah, great. Oh, dude, yeah, I'm seeing them still hold it down. You know what I mean? I remember, you know, shout out to the budget friendly Tenzo R. You know, all the cats, right? You know what I mean? Because that's how a lot of cats get started, bro, in the game. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you elevate and everything. But so all this to be talking, we talked about the culture and about obviously things, the evolution of things. I want to go back real quick to where you were talking about the gold color in your face and stuff like that, because we went to raps. Shout out Tiny Bot, right? We were talking about that. What is your favorite, if you have one, color to shoot? Like, is there a color car that, like, hey, dude, I know a lot of cats will say, hey, man, I love shooting a black car, whatever it is, white. What is, as a photographer's point of view, what is your favorite color to shoot? I'm curious.
I like to work hard.
Okay.
So I like a color that's going to make me work harder.
Okay.
Than what it is.
Yes, sir.
I hate colors that I could approach it and I know I could get a photo so easy.
Any angle
I could get it.
So what's the hardest color you think?
Midnight purple.
Really? Okay.
My brother's color.
Wow.
So that's where the love for the Midnight Purple started. To get that transition, especially on MP2, the Midnight Purple 2 or the Midnight Purple 3, to get that transition of the color, it's hard.
I get
it's
you.
It's genuinely hard. It's I feel like it takes it. One thing about photography that I'm not gonna say I've learned. I'm still learning. To this day, I'm learning something new every day when it comes to photography. So, but one thing that I'm starting to learn more and more and more is you have to understand lighting, and natural lighting aside from controlled lighting. Because controlled lighting, you could control it and you could do what you want and manipulate it the ways you want to manipulate it, right? Which takes a lot of practice. I don't knock that. Especially if you're wanding it, or especially if you don't have set up lights, it takes craft.
Yeah.
But understanding a color in the daylight outside and trying to find the transition where you're not going to get a shadow, where you're going to get even tones, where you're going to get, opposed to doing it through Photoshop and you actually getting it through the camera itself. Yeah. I feel like Midnight Purple has been the toughest.
Okay. Got it.
That color, it took me quite some time. Even though my brother's had Midnight Purple 1, now he has Midnight Purple 2 on his Supra. It was a learning curve. It was something where the moment I thought I found Midnight Purple 1, my brother was like, that's it, I'm over the color, tear it down to bare metal, we're going to go Midnight Purple 2. Yeah. So it was like, oh man, like I finally understood the color. Yeah. And now you're going to an even more difficult color, you know? That's the color that I feel like it's tough. Most people that have seen Midnight Purple in person, they know it's a color that could easily go from purple to black.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think whenever you approach, for me, if I see it from the corners, like especially the tail ends, depending on how the vehicle is curved or whatever else, the corner of it usually can capture, you know, those multiple different, that flip. But if you're more straight on or whatever, dude, it's just going to look like it's dark purple. Correct. You get what I'm saying?
Not only that, keep in mind, most cars that come Midnight Purple are R34 Skylines. Yeah. Skylines in general, right? Yeah. My brother has a Supra. So the Mach 4 Supra body lines are round. Yeah. I feel like R34 Skylines, they represent the Midnight Purple so well, and they stand by it because of the what you just said,
dude.
The body lines,
Big time, yeah.
They're blocked out. The rear end, it's a square, so
Yeah.
it gives you that transition.
Yeah.
Opposed to something being round where you're flowing into it.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like that's where the learning curve came. I feel like it especially when you light paint it, it's something where it's tough. You need to get that right angle. You need to get that right position for you to get what you want out of it. You know?
True. No, I get you.
But it's definitely a beautiful color. Once you learn how to shoot it, and once you could genuinely understand it, it's wonderful. Same thing with like maroons and like burgundies.
Yeah.
Beautiful color once you understand the color, once you could understand how to approach it and how to position the car. I feel like positioning is everything. I'm a strong believer, and everybody sees, like, they've always asked when I'm shooting a car, I tend to stick out my hand and I do this, and they'll be like, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just seeing the light. Like the sun, my hand is your car, basically.
Yeah.
So that's just something that I tend to do when I get to the set, you know, to understand, even though I've shot at that location previously, or if it's a new location, right?
Yeah.
If I'm shooting sunset or sunrise, obviously the sun's going to be either in front of me or behind me.
Yeah.
So that's where I tend to use my hand, and that's what I use to kind of help me and understand the lighting itself and how it's going to sit on the car before I tell the guy, hey, put your car here, and that's how we're going to position it.
Yeah, and things like that, dude. And again, I've worked with you on a personal level. Even whenever my 40 Mercury got delivered to me, you were the one right there capturing, and just your eye, like, I mean, and that was years ago, bro. That's damn near 3 years. You know what I mean? So, but it is totally
that's
true.
when I first started.
Big time, dude. But like, it is true whenever somebody has that eye, and it's more than just the eye. We just call it the gift, because whenever you're over here talking about this little sign language of the hands with the sun and stuff, bro, that's deep. I mean, you're on, but it's just props to you for your growth, for the evolution of Marvin as a photographer and stuff, man. It's just great to have you as a guest over here, and I'm just excited to see what else you will be doing. And speaking about what else, talk to me about 2023. What does that look like for you? I mean, what's your plans this year?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys in Cars for having me. I appreciate you guys, all the love and everything. 2023 is going to be a great year. As of now, I'm booked all the way to April.
Jeez.
So that's a blessing. But it's just something where I feel like last year I started with Super Street in April, June, more or less. And I had 30 features. So definitely my goal for this year is to not double it, but make 3 times or sky's the limit. Bro, I don't want to, I want to just continue my craft. Consistency is key. Just go head over heels over it and just wish for the best, man. And just definitely I want to travel. I want to see cars outside of California. I want to see different builds. A build that I'm actually looking forward to shooting in April is a Chevelle out in Florida.
Nice.
The Chevelle has a twist to it, though. It has a 2JZ in it. He's pushing 1,000 horses, full interior, full exterior, has a JDM twist to it. He's sitting on JDM wheels, JDM bucket seats, on an old school Chevelle, something you'd appreciate.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
He kept it alongst the domestic side where the car's black.
Sure. Okay.
The interior accents, they're black. It's all murdered out.
Yeah.
But the twist to it, the fact that he went with domestic to the import, it's just, to me, it's something that I appreciate, especially that, me, I like Chevys. So to see a Chevy with a motor that I glorify, it's like, all right. That's dope. Yeah. Something that's, something I want to look forward to seeing. For like sure. Rob Dam's Corvette with a rotary, with the 2-rotor. I'm pretty sure you've heard of that.
Yes, sir.
Those are builds to me that it's like, I want to see more of the builds because it genuinely pushes the craftsmanship to a whole nother level. Yeah. But yeah, as far as this year, I'm just wishing for the best. I want to travel as much as possible and just spend some time with my family, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know you're a busy man, man. Every time that we talk, I mean, as you mentioned about the natural lights, because you are catching those sunrise, sundown shots and everything. And I mean, dude, California has to be one of the dopest, most legit landscapes that we are blessed to be around here to be able to shoot. Because, I mean, like, I know sometimes you're shooting over there by PV. That's one of my favorite areas. You know what I mean? Over there, all the little twisties and stuff. But hey, they're really the cops there don't play games as far as with the modified cars. You know,
that's the one thing that I've been blessed with. I've got to know all the cops in that area.
Oh, that's a good thing.
So all the cops, they know me by my first name.
Good.
And it's funny because you're not supposed to be flying drones over there. Even though I have my drone license, I fly my drone out there sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they see they get alerted, and they know they get to the scene, and they're like, oh, Marvin, and they're like, we know you have a drone. And I'll be like, oh yeah, my bad. I'm like, but they know what I'm doing. So they know personally first, like he's not over there shooting the port side. He's genuinely shooting a car. And that's just his passion, and that's what he does. But it's just something where I strongly agree with you. PV, San Pedro, port side cops they're a hassle. I've heard that from a lot of photographers. Like, bro, how do you shoot out there? Like, and I've been blessed. I feel like cops are humans. It's all how you present yourself. It's all how you talk to them.
True.
You know, it's how you approach them. I feel like a lot of people tend to approach them in a very rude way.
Oh, of course, 100%.
So that's how they're going to react with you. You
know?
Yeah,
we're all guilty. I mean, whenever I was younger, that would be how it was. You know what I mean? Like I was in a C5Z06, no cats and stuff, and then I get pulled over, and immediately I'm aggressive. And it's like, you got to understand, like what you said, they're people, and just approach it in a different way. And it's all about that culture too. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what we're talking about. A lot of them are car enthusiasts themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know I mean, they're doing their job.
So I was shooting R34 one time, portside. It was actually 2 months ago. It was a blue R34 four-door. Rodney's. He's a drifter out here. And he has a KET in it. Sure enough, an officer arrives to the scene. I know him by name. I don't want to mention his name. And he ended up, he approaches the scene, and he's like, oh, man. He goes, it's you, Marv. And I was like, yeah. He's like, so they're wrong. He's like, somebody called it in as a burnout. He's like, but I do know you don't ask people to burn out. I'm like, I didn't ask him to burn out. He hasn't even revved the car. And he sees the car, and he goes, oh my God, that's an R34 Skyline. He goes, that's not supposed to be here. And I go, oh yeah. I thought he was gonna give me a hassle, right? 5 minutes later, fast forward to 5 minutes later, he shows me his phone, and he goes, this is my 34 Skyline.
Oh,
he's
wow.
like, I'm waiting for the 25-year mark to come, and they're gonna ship it to me.
That's dope.
I was like, no way. So just that feeling to know that the cops itself are strongly in the industry, you know, in the community, and not only that, they just, like you said earlier, takeovers are basically making it bad for everybody.
True.
So the cops genuinely respect enthusiasts. So if they see that you're an enthusiast and you're calm, and you can have a car on full slicks like my brother and the team does. Like you've met my brother, you've met my team. There are Supras, all pushing over 1,000 horsepower. All of them on slicks. And that's how they drive around town. No problem, you know. And why? Because the cops know. Last time, honestly, that day I had an accident, I could say. You know? I was pretty scared because it was my brother's car and my brother from another mother tow. We were on the freeway. We were going to a Cars and Coffees out in South Coast Plaza. And we're on the 405 freeway, and we had 5 highway patrols literally surround us. And we had one in the front, one in the back, 2 on the sides, and one a little bit off, like on the other lane. Like, they were genuinely, like, they boxed us in. Coasting for a good 5 minutes, all to tell us on the radios, beautiful cars.
Yeah, that's what it's all about right there.
That was genuinely all they did, and then they all just went around and they all took off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were trying to scare us or what the case may be, but they saw we were genuinely driving. They figured it's early in the morning. They're probably going to Cars and Coffees, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those where I feel like the community out here it all depends on what you're doing. I feel like domestic cars get stereotyped a lot. Challengers, Corvettes, Chargers, you know, Mustangs.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
They get it's sad, but they get
it is a difficult. It is true. Right now is a difficult time to be a domestic muscle car owner, new generation. You know, I mean, one of my personal reasons why I went with classic route, just because, like, you know, it's just one of those things. It is, you have to adapt. You have to learn that and realize that, look, dude, if I'm driving one of these cars that is targeted, you are going to have some problems.
You're gonna get stereotyped, and whether you're doing nothing bad or where, you know. I actually know somebody with a Hellcat, and he's the most respectful guy in the world. I've never ever heard him like rev his car. But if I show you his list of tickets, he's like, Marv, I'm tired of it. He's like, it's genuinely draining, bro. He's like, it's draining to get pulled over and to pop on my book that I have here of like tickets that are like fix-it tickets too. They're nothing like serious, you know. But he's like, it sucks because the youth and selective people are basically we're getting categorized with them, you know, and it's like just because we drive a selective car. It's
a difficult time, and we'll see how things evolve in that scene. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things. But hopefully
it gets better. I mean, I hope it gets better. I mean, it should. I feel like if we want to go back talking like within the generations and the evolution of the car scene itself, it's always had something bad, you know?
Yeah,
like
true.
There's always been the street racing.
It's
Back when I had my Honda, like I genuinely had to get rid of the Del Sol because of theft. Like theft was really bad. Like out here in California,
dude, that was the time that I moved down here, 2012. I was looking at wanting to get a DA Integra because I had found one, and literally the cats out over here in Long Beach were like, "Hey, if it's not going to be garage, don't get it."
That's
because
just
it was
what
hot
it is.
right at that time. And so, you said it right. It is what it is, dude. You have to realize what you're dealing with, and that's it.
You have to adapt to the era that you're living in, and you know, and the decade, and just go with it and flow with it. I feel like the car scene has always, like I said, it's always had something wrong with it. It's not just been a perfect scene, you know.
Yeah, true.
So it's just something that we just hope for the best.
True.
We just hope for the best because I feel like the laws out here in California are just getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
A lot of other states are a lot more lenient. For instance, Texas, you know,
it's great. Texas is the big horsepower state. You know, I'm out there and I'm just like, bro,
Texas 2K, Papa.
Bro, you don't mention your horsepower if it's under 4 digits.
Yeah,
I mean that's how it is. I mean, literally,
and the way I feel like Texas, you don't mention your horsepower unless you're over 2,000 horses.
Real talk. I mean, bro, cats are running out there with parachutes, nonchalantly just going to get coffee. Yeah, I'm just like, easy, bro. But I mean, that's what it's all about, dude.
I met somebody out there, right? He drives a GTO, right? And I was like, bro, what? My brother's pushing 1,500, and he kind of like giggled, and I was like, why are you giggling? That's like power, right? Yeah. Especially out here in Southern California.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I remember those days. And I was like, oh, he has a car that's pushing power. Yeah. And he goes, oh, my twin turbo GTO is pushing 2,200.
Yeah.
And I was like, 22, what? He goes, yeah, that's not the fastest car. He goes, one of my buddies is pushing 2,800.
Yeah.
He goes, and there's faster cars out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like that's power.
So one of the things I'll remember is I'm outside doing some quick little iPhone video. Okay, iPhone. I don't have the Canon or Sony. All right, so I got to be real about that. I probably had a filter. I was running a thing, which I know is a no-no. So I'm out there with a black NSX, new generation NSX. I'm just like, man, this thing is nice. I want to check this out one of these times. And his wife says, oh, you should see his Camaro. And I'm thinking, okay, what about 1LE, ZL1, SS, something like that. I said, what is it? And she's like, oh, it's what's on my shirt. Turned around. Bro, whenever you have your car on your shirt, you already know, dude, you got something nasty, right? Yeah. And it's one of the funny car, like, heavily modified. We're talking about with the full fiberglass body. And so that's how it is. That's Texas. As you know, the theme is everything's bigger. I mean, bro, their horsepower game, it's no joke. It's a different type of thing. But going back to the scenery of California, you don't have that type of element of PCH with the palm trees and the freaking ocean to your right and stuff like that. It's different. It's all flatland. You know what I mean? So the environment, the vibe, it's different, you know what I mean? And also culture is so rich out here because we are such a diverse state. You get what I'm saying? Like, down to just, you'll have Asian, Mexican, like, black, white, everybody, the car scene brings everybody together. Right. And the diversity out here is such a beautiful thing. Like we were talking about the diversity at SEMA. You go through SEMA and like you said, like, hey, your tax.
There's not a race out there. It's
just enthusiasts.
Just car people.
And that's what I love, dude. That's what's so great about this scene.
Car people getting to know each other.
And that's why I'm looking forward to Kaiser hosting some open house events, you know what I mean, to let people know, hey, look, dude, we're here. You know what I mean? Not only are we about the lifestyle of this culture, but also we're offering unique cars for sale. You know what I mean? Like, that different type of thing, which is always a cool thing. So, man, dude, I just want to thank you. It's man, this is just like us talking, us vibing. This is a typical time whenever we get together. Have you had a good time?
It's been awesome, bro. I appreciate you guys and everything you guys do for me. So appreciate that you guys let me feature your guys' cars because you guys have an amazing garage. Out of these garages,
thank you.
All the cars in here just leave you speechless. I feel like the quality is in here. The quality is what you want. As far as a dealership, probably one of the best dealerships in the world. Not even going to say California, in the world.
Yes, sir.
You guys are up there, bro. I feel like quantity isn't everything. Quality is.
True.
So quality is what matters, If you could have 100 cars, but if you have 10 nice cars, those
Bangers.
10s would outdo the 100,
Yes, sir. No, we appreciate that.
I really appreciate it.
And tell us, for the people listening, watching, all that stuff, where can they find out more information about Marvin's work? Where is that at?
You could either reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, or email me. My Instagram is mr2mivin. My email address is mivin2@yahoo.com. But yeah, you could either, like I said, email, DM me, and then, we could get in contact. I would love to feature more cars around the world. So if you're out of California, reach out to me and see what we could do.
Hit this man up for sure. He does not play. You definitely see. I know you guys see the roller in the background, but not only that, this dude has the eye, the gift. And hey, as always, stay tuned. You never know who might be next over here at the Kaiserkars podcast. As always,
hopefully
much
you
love.
have more of our pioneers out on Super Street.
Yes, sir. Something tells me we're gonna get some heat coming out here.
Yes,
for
sir.
Sure. You already
I got
know
something
how we
lined
do.
up for you guys. So
Yes, sir, Papa. Hey, man.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for everything, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll wrap that up.